ഗഫൂർ സാർ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാം അല്ലേ?
Peace be upon you all. Today, we are gathered here for the fifth episode of Talk and Dream. Let me call upon Leah Tasni from Tennessee for welcome speech. Leah, over to you.
Good evening, everybody. Myself, Leah Tasni from Tennessee. It's my privilege to welcome you all to this wonderful episode of Talk and Dream. We are honored. We are honored with today's guest, Mr. Nishi.K.K, who is the Senior Project Manager in L&T Infotech in Australia. On behalf of Model Health, we wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. I would also like to welcome the respected manager, Muhammad sir, academic director, Muhammad Sharif sir, principal, Anas sir, all my dear teachers, parents, and my lovely friends to this wonderful occasion.
Thank you, Leah Tasni. We shall start our session. Let me invite Fida Fatima KN from ATC for our first question.
About your profession?
Opportunity. I hope you all can hear me and see me well. Please someone say yes if you can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. We can't see you.
Oh, you can't see me? Huh.
Yes, we are not able to view.
Now.
Even now.
Not sure because from my side it says that video is on.
Okay.
Anyone?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So coming back to your question, I guess it's a great question, and I think I can answer this in two category, in general, and second in terms in my personal experience. I guess in general, IT industry is one of the very few industry where you can actually make a change, an impact to the society very quickly, and with very minimal cost, and it's a global reach. I can give you thousands of examples where IT people made a great impact to the society. For example, if I take a Bill Gates, everyone knows, right? He created a software operating system, and he became, one of the richest man in the world, and he actually changed the way we work, right? Or we, go through our life. That completely changed with the Windows operating system came into the existence. Same way, Facebook or Uber. There are so many companies or people who has a vision to make change, and hard work, dedication. That's all you need to succeed in IT industry. So you don't need a big capital. You can have one computer and a bit of a dedication. Then you get to change it. For example, Uber came in. I read somewhere that this guy was in France and trying to get a taxi. He was not able to get the taxi for so long time, and this is probably you guys, as a young generation, you might not experience this, but our generation or your teacher would have experienced in the past that if you book a taxi, you have to wait for a long time and all those things, right? And this guy also got into that kind of experience, and he thought an idea that why don't I create an app? And probably he might have taken a month or two to create that app because it's not that complicated. At least the first version of the app would have been much less complicated. And now he changed the world. Taxi industry is completely changed, right? So, and in a nutshell, IT industry is where you can make a change the world with the minimal capital required, and very fast also. Have anyone know programming language called Python?
You have heard of it?
Right. So the Python programming language was created within 3 or 4 weeks, and now that is one of the language which is changing the world. Again, most of the programmers are shifting to Python now. So it hardly takes 1 or 2 months to come up with a a great product. So that's another advantage. So that's in general IT industry. So if you all you need is a vision and willingness to put your hard work on it, and then you can be a billionaire or change the world. uh, Personally, I think this industry gave me um, uh, um, a lot of things what I am right now. I'm not a big guy and all. I'm a very normal software engineer. There will be like millions of software engineers in the world, so I'm just one of them. So I'm not saying that I'm too big and all, but whatever I am, this industry gave me, it gave me a lot of traveling experience. So that's one of the thing you won't get that much of an opportunity in other industry. In IT, if you are lucky, you will be able to travel the world. And luckily, that's what I managed to travel all continents except Antarctica and Africa. So I traveled everywhere, and I traveled not by putting money from my pocket. A company sent me through to a different country. So that's something I enjoy. Thanks for the question. I hope I answered those.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Heartily thank you. Next, let me invite Dia from 8th B.
Sir,
Sorry, Dia, I couldn't hear your question properly. Can you repeat it?
how does your job affect your general lifestyle?
A general lifestyle. Okay. Well, like in any industry, there are challenges and issues in any. It's normal, right? I think in IT industry, um, it tend to provide a work-life balance. So you can and it's not something came after the COVID pandemic. Even before that itself, IT companies generally allow you to work from home. You can take a flexible hours and all those things. So that will help you to balance your work and life. I hope you heard that term, work-life balance. So basically, in some industry, people tend to work 18 hours or 20 hours per day, and take rest only 4 days or 4 hours and things like that. And in some industry, people don't work at all. Uh, they will come there, provide attendance, and come back and go home. So most of the IT companies try to balance it so that you are not completely not working, and also you're not completely working without taking any rest. So I guess that is one of the advantages in IT. I wouldn't say that that is only in IT though, because I haven't worked in any other industry, so I don't know how it applies in other industries. But definitely, IT industry is somewhere where you can get the work-life balance. Uh, but the problems with IT industry is that there is too much stress on the deadline. Um, by the way, if I'm going too fast or too slow, please let me know. Sometimes I tend to speak very fast without making much of a sense. Please stop me if I'm doing that. Um, yeah, so I guess too much of stress sometimes, too and sometime you will be asked to uh, change the shifts, especially the people who are supporting application in other countries. So these kind of issues are also there. Um, so if you have to work on Saturday, Sundays, or in the night and all, that will impact your lifestyle. I guess that's what you're asking, right? I'm not sure if I answered your question properly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Heartily thank you. Let me invite our assistant head girl, Shadida Shana from ninth standard.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, good afternoon.
What are your main responsibilities as a project manager?
Ah, that's a good question, and I'm interested to answer that because I'm a project manager, and that's what I do for the last 10 years and all. I'm doing only project management. So before I answer that question, can anyone tell me what is project? Anyone can answer that? No? Okay. I can explain you. A project is basically anything which is a series of tasks which need to be completed to achieve a specific goal. So it can be anything, not necessarily any IT project, right? Even constructing a house can be a project. So in that sense, project management roles, project management is basically making sure that whatever task you are doing is getting completed on time, within the cost, and within the right quality. So for example, if a person want to buy a Maruti car, uh, as a project manager, I need to make sure that he gets only Maruti car. He don't need to get a Ferrari. Which the problem with getting a Ferrari is that the cost will be too high, right? So basically, a project manager's first and foremost responsibility is to identify what is the goal of the project, or the scope of the project. In our analogy, if I have to take an example of a house constructing as our project, then the scope of the project will be like, I need a 2-story house with 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 1 hall, 1 kitchen, things like that, right? So that is the scope of the project. So defining the scope of the project, that's where it starts. And then from whom you will get the scope clarified or confirmed. That is from stakeholders are people who basically directly or indirectly impacted with this initiative. For example, if I'm again going back to house construction example, because everyone knows that it's a simple analogy. So the husband or father, mother, children, and grandfather, grandmother, they are all the stakeholders or the concerned party for the project. So as a project manager, you need to talk to stakeholders, make sure that everyone understand the scope of the project, and then locked in, and making sure that the scope will not change. That's one of the main responsibilities of the project. Many times what happens is that you start a project, and in between someone will come and say that, oh, I need that, I need this. For example, house constructed, first floor is completed, second floor construction is happening, the kid will come and say, oh, I need swimming pool in the second floor. So that will completely destroy the entire project, right? The time will the extra cost will be there, the design will have to change. So project manager's responsibility to make sure that you identify the scope, locked in, and then identifying the resources, allocating the schedule, or planning the schedule, and risk management, issue management. Let me know if I'm going too technical, and if you're not able to understand, I can explain you in detail about it. But in general, cost, time, budget allocation, and the risk and issue management, and making sure that basically make sure that the project starts and ends within the time, within the cost, with the right quality. If that is a primary responsibility of the project manager, at the same time, project manager is also responsible to influence, make a positive influence to the stakeholders. So, for example, Kit says that let's say this I'm a project manager, house construction is happening, kid came and say that I need swimming pool, father says I don't have that much of money, then as a project manager my aim is to make sure that this project gets completed, right? So I'll go and talk to the um, team, talk to the kids, say that okay, let's settle with the bathtub, something like that. It's just a very vague analogy. In the same way, in a real IT world, we will have this kind of a debate and heated arguments every now and then. So as a project manager, we'll go. It's project manager's responsibility to make sure that it gets resolved amicably, and the aim is that the project will succeed. That will be the base, and also project manager should have a leadership quality uh, and motivate the team and uh, yeah. So these are the some of the soft skill also is required for the, it's not just pure planning and all execution, there is also a soft skill required. um, uh, I guess that is applicable every industry. It's not just project manager, but since I am from project manager, I think these are the qualities of project manager.
Thank
That's
you,
it.
sir.
Next, let me invite little sister Aisha Himaya from 6th A.
Good evening, sir. I am Aisha Himaya from 6th A. Sir, what type of work environment do you usually prefer?
uh, when you say work environment, what do you mean by that? You mean the office work environment, or work from home type of thing? I didn't get that
Both,
question.
both, sir.
Okay. Well, it's an interesting question actually, and it is kind of now getting debated a lot after the COVID pandemic. Mm, You know, this is a true story. When the COVID pandemic started and everyone was forced to work from home, we were skeptical. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but we were skeptical about how people are going to work. Um, and if people will work, or they will simply watch TV or movies and spend time. But to most of our surprise, all the team members, at least in my team, in general, everyone in my organization actually produced a positive uh, um, outcome. So the productivity actually increased when people started working from home. There might be various reasons for that. Maybe like traveling time is reduced, so you don't have to travel. So that time you work in front of your computer from home, so you finish more work. So or they want to prove that during this tough time we will be dedicate show more dedication to the work. So whatever reason it is, um, in general, everyone performed outperformed their usual parameters. So that was a good thing, and even for me also, I kind of started enjoying working from home. Even today, I'm actually working from home. I now work 3 days from home and 2 days from office. Even though in Australia, luckily we haven't got that much impacted by COVID. But still, people have that option now, either to go to office or work from home. Most of the guys are working 1 or 2 days from home and the rest from office, things like that. So I personally, I prefer to work from home. Mm, but there is also an advantage in working from office also, right? Because even though we have this video conferencing and all those things, but when you are sitting in a single room, and having this meeting will be totally different environment, right? Even now, I hardly can see any of you, and I'm not sure whether you can uh, see me or hear me properly. I guess you can, but the when you're talking in person, it will be slightly different, right? So the you can emotionally connect to other people. So it is also important that we work from office also. I guess I answer your question.
Thank you, sir. Next, let me invite Shihana from 7th year.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening.
So, what do you think about Kerala and its education system?
Sorry, your voice was uh, not clear. Can you repeat the question?
So, what do you think about Kerala and its education system?
Okay, Kerala and education system. I studied from Kerala, so I guess uh, I'm not an expert in this, but from my personal experience, I think comparing between Kerala and the Australian education system, I think in Australia, whatever I see, I have two girls. One is studying in eighth, and another one studying in fourth. And whatever I see is that their education is more practical oriented. I don't know in Kerala this has changed now, but when I was studying, everything was related to making sure that you buy hard stuff, right? You used to study essays and put codes and all that. Somehow try to memorize stuff. I don't see um, that type of memorization happening in Australia. Even I asked my daughters, why are you not studying anything after coming back from? I'm not sure your teachers will be happy to hear this. Apologize if I'm saying something wrong here, teachers, but here kids don't have to memorize anything. They learn things practical way. So if I have to take an example, um, my younger daughter brought um, two plants one day from school, and she kept one plant in the sunlight and another plant without sunlight. And she was giving water and fertilizer and all those things on a regular basis. And then after a few days, the one plant died out, and another plant which was kept in sun, was growing properly. And that was a live example for them to understand how photosynthesis works, right? So rather than studying the theory and reading all this material, without studying anything, they understood. And I don't think she will ever forget what is photosynthesis, because she learned through the practical. That's just one example. Another difference I see is that in here, the government conduct an exam every year to identify some of the uh, you know uh, good student who is good in aptitude and attitude and all, and they take these students and apart from normal school hours, one day per week they will teach additional curriculum activities, such that they identify bright students from the young age itself, and then try to identify their right way for their future in the very young age, and then start training them. So it's not just one. It's not just rocket science or computer or history. They teach these set of students every subject, and then let the students decide which subject is better for them, um, and uh, um, um, and then they take that. So one of my, my elder daughter also got into that program. So I used to, send her. I used to go from office and pick her up from school once in a week, take it to the other program, and they have gone through different various programs, and finally she realized that she is interested in lawyer. So I don't know whether she will become a lawyer, but she kind of developed that interest. So there are things like that, small changes. I don't see too many changes, but there are some small practical changes between Kerala and Australia. But I can't say what is how I value Kerala education system now, because I don't know now how much of change, because I studied long time back. I'm too old uh, to say what is the current status of Kerala education.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Next, let me invite our cute little brother Dilshad from 5th A.
Good evening, sir. I am Dilshad from 5th A. Sir, what are the common career paths in this field?
Okay. Common area path. I'm not sure if any of you understand software development cycle. Anyone knows what is software development cycle? It's not that bit complicated, but generally, 10 software jobs or career path revolves around the software development cycle. So that begins from the requirement gathering, and then designing. Once you understand what software you want to develop, and then do the development of the software and testing, and then support. So this is the software development cycle. So usually all the jobs from IT industry is revolve around this. So it will be business analyst, programmer, developer, architect, software tester, software supporter. So and then you have database analyst, sorry, DBA, network engineer. These are the old traditional IT industry, but now IT industry is also rapidly changing. So that way, there are a lot of new jobs coming in from IT industry. Jobs like uh, the cloud computing, that's something new. Mobile programming, that is new. Cyber security engineers. Um, uh, yeah, so there are so many career paths. There are n number of career paths. So first thing is to make sure that you understand the fundamentals of computer, and then you can choose which career path. You are too young for that now, but I'm sure you don't have to specifically focus on a specific thing now, because IT industry changes very drastically. Every 3 year, 5 year, the whole thing will be completely out. So by the time you are in the job market, everything will be completely new. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, sir. Let me invite Liba Shurin from 6th standard.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening.
How did you become interested in this field?
Well, I something like this. I mean, after 10th, my dad asked me to join a computer institute. So that time, schools won't teach computer. You guys are lucky that you have a computer department. You can learn computer stuff from school itself. For me, or for our generation, we have to go to computer institute. I'm not sure if those institutes are still there, but I went to an institute called Aptech, where I tried, and I realized that okay, I'm able to do computer stuff. So that's how I got interested, and then I joined BSc computer science, and then that way completed MCA and started working in IT industry. So I just tried it out basically, and it worked for me, and I realized that I'm good in IT.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, next, let me invite Sulfit Rahana from 78.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, sir, what kind of education, training, or background does your job require?
Okay. So education, I'll start with mine. I did BSc Computer Science and MCA, that is a Master in Computer Application, and then I did few certification. Um, uh, PMP, that is Project Management Plan, and Scrum Master training, and then ITL training, and all. So that's my specific thing. But in general, you don't have to focus about too much about IT technical stuffs now, because you're too young for that now. What you need to do is you need to make sure that you understand the fundamentals of the IT industry. If you know the fundamentals, then any programming language you can learn, or any new IT, uh, changes, you will be able to absorb quickly. That's what I basically suggest you to do, and make sure that you understand IT industry, IT specifics, sorry, IT fundamentals, and then in order to succeed, you have to make sure that you speak English well. I'm not sure if I'm saying this politically correct or not, but at the end of the day, if you can speak English uh, well, you will be able to get into the IT industry much faster. I'm not saying other people can't make it, but uh, uh, because in my experience, when I started my career, I was not able to speak a single English word. I used to struggle. So it's not that without English you can't, but if you know how to speak in English, that will be easier for you. What else you need to do? Uh, I guess that's it. I mean, you need to have a good attitude, and that's not just for IT industry. For any industry, positive attitude towards life, and a willingness to put hard work, and yeah. So that will make you succeed in any industry, not just in IT industry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, next, let me invite Fatima Jabin from 7th B.
Good evening, sir.
Hi. Good evening.
Sir, if you could do it all over again, would you choose the same path for yourself? If not, what would you change?
Interesting question. I wouldn't change anything. I'm really happy uh, what I am now. Probably a bit more less weight. I'm really fat guy now. So apart from that, I won't want to change anything. I guess the only improvement I could make is, and I guess I really want to tell you guys, because most of the time people don't really realize the importance of effective communication. Um, and had I know the importance of effective communication, I would have probably be in a maybe in a bigger, higher role than what I am now. Because I'm right now in a position just because I'm good in IT, not because I'm good in communication. I learned about communication very late, and I guess this is an opportunity for you guys to focus on that also. That particular soft skill for communication is one of the critical aspect in your life, and it's not just for IT industry, any industry. If you can talk well, if you can communicate well, that is going to add a lot of value to your career. So when I realized that I'm not that good in communication, and I tried to learn this from internet. I couldn't get any material, but now I I managed to get some of the channels, or not channels actually. It's a program called um, Toastmaster. So I would really encourage you all to make a note of this program called Toastmaster. It's like a organization. It's available everywhere. I guess almost every city has this. They will specifically train people for free. It's not a profit organization, I believe. And you don't even have to join physically. Also, you can go through their videos. They teach you guys on how to speak effectively, how to get rid of your shyness in case if anyone has a stage fear and stuff like that. And how to stress certain point, which I'm still learning, by the way. So I'm not at all good in that. But I wish I knew that when I was a kid. So there you know now. So there is no excuse for you guys if you you can't communicate properly. Then at least you had an option to correct it. So go and check out that YouTube channel at least. So that is the easiest thing, right? It's called Toastmaster. There'll be plenty of videos on how to do the communication properly. So, and this is something I tell my daughters also. It might be boring initially, so I have to force my kids a lot of time to start watching that video, and eventually they started. So I hope you guys also get it. And I'm really hoping that this point is the one which you might be able to take it from me today. That how to communicate is going to be really helpful for you guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Next, let me invite Aisha Nesrin from 10th B.
Good evening, sir.
What advice would you give someone considering?
Um. Okay. So when you say this type of job is IT industry job, right? Yeah. So no, I'm saying
Yes, yes.
yeah. Okay. So I guess for IT industry, first of all, you need to make sure that you understand the fundamentals of IT. Don't focus too much about the programming languages or the platform and all those things, because those things will change. So when I started working, there used to be a programming college. Sorry, there used to be a programming language called VB6 that is not available now. So completely gone. So same way, the programming languages will change. So just make sure you understand the fundamentals of this, and uh, stay informed. So again, probably you guys are too early for that, but if you can, check. You have internet, check the relevant IT pages or YouTube videos or whatever, to make sure that you keep informed about what is happening in the industry, because every now and then there will be new things, and if you are not keeping yourself updated within 2 or 3 days, you will be completely blank, because industry would have been adopted all new things. Um, and then I guess, as I mentioned, you need to make sure that you have a good communication skill, and good other soft skills also, like in IT industry nowadays, it's everything about how you speak, how you present, how you create a presentations and all those, apart from the coding and other stuff. So that is also something you can focus. And then when you do study any IT related stuff, try and make uh, that in a real work experience. So if you are learning about a new programming language and all, try and make that you create a code which resembles or may be useful for someone. So create a program. For example, when we were when I was studying, there was an inter-college meet. So we anyway wrote studying the program. So we thought we will create a program which will be helpful for the inter-college meet. So that's just an example, something like that. So you will really understand what is required for the real life. So try and put something which is useful in the real life also. So these are the some steps, but I wouldn't say that you start learning C or C++ and all those things. So I won't say that you shouldn't be, but don't put too much focus on that. Just mm, understand the stuff. So that's it. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, sir. Next, let me invite our cute little pie, Shahra Shakir from 3rd A.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Hey, good evening.
I am Shahara Sheki from 3rd A. My question is, what do you like the most about working in this company?
Um, I don't know how. What I like. I guess this is a great company. With a great professionalism and uh, yeah. So and even though I'm in Australia, this is an Indian company, so that is one of the best satisfying thing that I'm still working in an Indian company, and it's a great company to work for. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Let me invite our little sister Nuha from 6th B.
Good evening, sir. I am Yoga from Sister B. How would you describe your work ethic?
Um, Rather than my work ethics, probably I can talk about the work ethics in IT industry. IT industry is an industry which handles a lot of sensitive data. So it is important that we are who work in IT industry, adhere to the integrity and professionalism, and make sure that we maintain privacy and confidentiality of the data. Because, for example, if a guy who is working in or an IT admin or a database engineer who is working in a bank, he has access to all the people's money information, right? Not necessarily he can take the money, but at least he will know how much money one person has or not, right? So you can't simply peek into other people's information. So you have to value the confidentiality and privacy of I can give an example, real life example. So when a few years back I was working in another company. At that time uh, uh, I was working for a leading soft drink company. I won't name the company, but you all know. And that soft drink company has a recipe on how they make that drink. It's very secretive, right? So they safeguard really tightly and all. But um, uh, our software is basically is used to check the quality of the raw material they buy and the quality of the drink while during the manufacturing line. So anyone from our company know what they are buying and how they are making it. So that doesn't mean that we can go and tell this secret to someone else. Even if they say, if we go and tell, I don't think anything drastic will happen. But still, so IT people has a lot of information, can access a lot of information. But it is important that IT people all make sure that they keep that confidentiality of the data. So that's one of the ethics IT people has to have. I guess I answered your question there.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Tuning.
Sir, do people in this position have the opportunity for advancement?
Yeah. like in any industry. So again, I'm manager, I'm not any. So I can be, associate director, associate VP, and then VP and president. It is endless, right? So of course, and as in any industry, you can always grow as long as two things, right? Whether uh, you wanna grow your career in that way, because every time when you grow in your career, there is also a sacrifice you need to give. You probably need to work extra time, or you may probably need to travel too much and all those things. So again, it comes back to work life balance. How much work you want to do versus how much of time you want to spend with your family and kids. So sometimes we have to choose, and some people are very ambitious and want to grow in their career. Some people are happy what they are. I guess I answered your question there.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, next let me invite Amina Fida from 7th B.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, does your company engage in social responsibility programs?
Yeah, so my like any other IT big MNC companies, all has their social responsibility and their separate wings. My company main focus is on empowerment to um, women and youth and disabled people. So there is a specific program to help these people to make sure that a marginally isolated society or community is developed. That's something my company does, and also company focus on education. So there are a lot of programs run by my company where they provide the scholarship and other facilities for, again, marginalized community, those who don't have that much of capability. They can avail this facility. So and then I guess my company also focused on environment. So they run programs for this climate change, tree planting exercise and all those things. So they are also heavily invested in environmental aspect as well. Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next, let me invite Afira from 9th B, and it's our last question.
Okay.
Sir, can you talk about your college and family in Malayalam?
Yeah. എനിക്ക് ഞാൻ അപ്പോഴേ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ എനിക്ക് രണ്ട് കുട്ടികളുള്ളത്, രണ്ട് പെൺകുട്ടികളാണ്. ഒരാള് 4th ഇന്നൊരാള് 8th. പിന്നെ ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് വൈഫ് ഇവിടെ തന്നെ ഒരു ഗവൺമെന്റ് സ്ഥാപനത്തിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാണ്. ഞാൻ പഠിച്ചത് പാലക്കാടാണ്. പിന്നെ കോയമ്പത്തൂരായിരുന്നു എൻ്റെ കോളേജ് SNGC കോളേജിൽ കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ സയൻസ്. പിന്നെ അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് MCA പഠിക്കുന്നത് സമയത്ത് ഞാൻ കറസ്പോണ്ടൻസ് ആയിട്ട് പഠിച്ചത്. അപ്പം MCA പഠിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് തന്നെ ഞാൻ ജോലിക്കും ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തു. അപ്പോൾ ആ 3 വർഷം MCA പഠിച്ചു കഴിയുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും എനിക്ക് 3 വർഷത്തെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ ആ ഒരു എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് വെച്ചു ഞാൻ ദുബായിൽ ജോലിക്ക് പോയി. അവിടുന്ന് ജോലി കിട്ടി. പിന്നെ അങ്ങനെ പല രാജ്യത്തും ട്രാവൽ ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു ഭാഗ്യം ഉണ്ടായി. വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ചോദിക്കണ്ട? ഐ എം നോട്ട് ഷുവർ ഇഫ് ഐ ഹാവ് കവർഡ് ഇറ്റ് ഫുള്ളി.
സർ, ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും അഡ്വൈസ് ആർക്ക് തരാനുണ്ടോ?
അഡ്വൈസ് ഞാൻ തരാനായിട്ട് ഞാൻ അത്ര വലിയ ആളൊന്നുമില്ല. പക്ഷെ ഞാൻ ആദ്യം പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ നിങ്ങളെല്ലാവരും എന്തായാലും എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ പഠിച്ച് എവിടെയൊക്കെ എത്തും. അപ്പൊ അതിലൊന്നും നമ്മൾ വലിയൊരു എന്താ പറയാ അധികം ബേജാറാവേണ്ട കാര്യമില്ല എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു. നിങ്ങള് ഐ ഗസ് എന്റെ ഒരു എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഞാൻ പറയണ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ എന്നുള്ള ഒരു സാധനം അധികം ആൾക്കാരൊന്നും കേരളത്തിൽ ഇതിനു മുമ്പ് ഞാൻ പഠിക്കുന്ന സമയത്തൊന്നും ഫോക്കസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. അപ്പം അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു സ്ഥിതിയാണ് ഇപ്പോഴും എങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇൻഡിവിജ്വൽ ആയിട്ട് എഫേർട്ട് എടുത്തിട്ട് മേക്ക് ഷുവർ ദാറ്റ് യു സ്പീക്ക് വെരി വെൽ ഇൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ആൻഡ് നോട്ട് ജസ്റ്റ് സ്പീക്കിംഗ് ഇംഗ്ലീഷ്, ഈവൻ മലയാളത്തിലായാലും കൂടെ ആൾക്കാരുടെ അടുത്ത് നല്ല രീതിയിൽ കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് നമ്മൾ എന്താണോ കൺവേ ചെയ്യാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത് അത് ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് പറയാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു സ്ഥിതിയിലേക്ക് നിങ്ങൾ വളരണം. അങ്ങനെ അതാണ് എനിക്കൊരു ഉപദേശം തരാനുള്ളത്. രണ്ടാമത്തെ വന്നിട്ട് കുറച്ച് ലോഡഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ്. അപ്പൊ ഞാൻ നിങ്ങൾ മേ ബി യു ആർ ടു യങ് ഫോർ ദിസ്, ബട്ട് മേ ബി ഒരു 10th ഗ്രേഡ് ഒക്കെ ആയി നിങ്ങൾ ചില ആൾക്കാരൊക്കെ 10th-ലാണെന്ന് എനിക്ക് ചില ആൾക്ക് വളരെ ചെറുതാണ്. പക്ഷെ 10th-ലുള്ള കുട്ടികളൊക്കെ ആണെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പൊ തന്നെ ഒന്ന് ആലോചിച്ച് നോക്കും. നിങ്ങൾ 40 years ഒക്കെ ആയിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നിങ്ങൾ എന്താവണ്ടേ എന്നുള്ള ഒരു എയിം നിങ്ങൾ വയ്ക്കൂ. എന്നിട്ട് ആ ഒരു ഗോള് അച്ചീവ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഒരു 5-year പ്ലാൻ, 10-year പ്ലാൻ ഒക്കെ നിങ്ങൾ ചുമ്മാ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു പേപ്പറിൽ എഴുതി വെച്ചേക്കും. എന്നിട്ട് അതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് start working on it. So probably you might not achieve that goal, probably you will achieve it, but at least whatever effort you're spending or putting towards that goal, right, that will make you achieve something. You will gain something out of that plan, right? So you plan for something. സോ ഇപ്പോൾ ചില ആൾക്കാർ ഡോക്ടർ ആവണമെന്നായിരിക്കും, ചിലർക്ക് വക്കീലാവണമെന്നായിരിക്കും. അത് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ചില ആൾക്കാർക്ക് ഞാൻ ഒരു വലിയ ബിസിനസ്സുകാരനാവണം, അച്ഛനും അമ്മയ്ക്കും വേറെ ബിസിനസ്സാണ്, അപ്പൊ ആ ബിസിനസ് ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യണം. അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു എയിം ലെറ്റ്സ് സേ 30 years ആകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 40 years ആകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും ഞാൻ ഇന്ന ആളാവണമെന്ന് മേ ബി എവിടെയെങ്കിലും എഴുതി വെച്ചിട്ട് അതിന് അപ്പൊ 40 years ആകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും ഞാൻ ആവാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഞാൻ 10th ക്ലാസ്സിൽ ഇത്ര മാർക്ക് വെച്ച് പാസ്സാവണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡിഗ്രി ഞാൻ ഇന്ന കോഴ്സ് എടുക്കണം, അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഒരു ലോങ് ടേം പ്ലാൻ ഉണ്ടാക്കുക. എന്നിട്ട് അതിനേക്ക് വേണ്ടി വർക്ക് ചെയ്യും. അപ്പോൾ ബേസിക്കലി യു ഹാവ് ടു സ്റ്റാർട്ട് പ്ലാനിങ്. സോ അതിനെ കൊണ്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് നഷ്ടമൊന്നും വരാൻ പോകില്ല. ഒരാഴ്ചക്ക് ഒരു 10-15 minutes നിങ്ങളുടെ ഫ്യൂച്ചറിന് വേണ്ടി നിങ്ങൾ പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി യൂസ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അതിനെ കൊണ്ട് നഷ്ടം നല്ലതേ വരാൻ പോകുള്ളൂ. പിന്നെ എന്താണ് ഫുൾ ഭയങ്കര പഠിപ്പിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള ആൾക്കാർക്ക് ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് ഫുൾ ടൈം പഠിപ്പിച്ചാവണമെന്ന കാര്യമൊന്നുമില്ല. കുറച്ചൊക്കെ ഫണ്ണും ആവാം. അത്രേ ഉള്ളൂ.
Thank you, sir. Heartily thank you. It is very helpful to us. Let me call upon Aslaha Almas from 10th C for deliver vote of thanks.
Good evening, all. As all good things come. I'm sorry. Good evening, all. As all good things come to an end in the life, so is the webinar. On behalf of Model High School, I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who directly and indirectly contributed to this webinar, Talk and Dream, organized by our school. At the outset, I thank our chief guest, Mr. Nishi. We are enlightened with your knowledge and presence, and I would like to thank our principal Anas sir for his enthusiastic support. Special thanks to IT Club and all other teachers for their unflinching support and coordination. Our heartfelt thanks to students for active participation. With these warm words and a kind message, we move to the end of today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it. So should I log off?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, we were very blessed to have a guest like you. We got lots more than what was expected, and we are really grateful to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really
Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
and thank you so much for inviting me. See you all.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you very much.